Toronto plays host to Texas, Sunday at 2:30 on ATV.
Thousands have gathered on Citadel Hill in Halifax to celebrate the success of the Halifax Summit. The stage is set, whatever the weather, as the Maritime's brightest musical stars are set to shine. And now, live from everywhere in downtown Halifax, ATV News presents the Halifax Summit.
Now, from the #1 news team in Atlantic Canada, the ATV Evening News.
Good evening, Steve Murphy, just below Citadel Hill at Argyle and George. It has been a remarkable 48 hours for the city of Halifax and for the entire Maritime provinces. Wouldn't you all agree? It's been a great time here in downtown Halifax. A lot of people, of course, have had some very close encounters with some of the most powerful people in the entire world. Many of them have now left. As a matter of fact, just a few minutes ago, word that President Yeltsin has become the latest of the G7 leaders, +2, to leave from Canadian Forces Base Shearwater. But you know, the summit may be over. The official business part of this thing is over, but the party is just beginning. As a matter of fact, just over historic Citadel Hill, we are getting ready for a Cayley, a maritime-style concert on the hill, starring the likes of Ashley McIsaac, Rock Voisine, and the Rankin family. This promises to be just a monumental evening here in Halifax, and wherever you are in the Maritime provinces, we invite you to spend the next 60 minutes or so with us to capture all of the fun and the excitement of this big thank you to the people of Halifax. Now, right now, we're going to Paul and Nancy, who are somewhere in the middle of the, I don't think it's a maddening crowd, but it's a big crowd up there, guys.
It certainly is, Steve, and it's a great place to be right now.
And you've caught us at a patriotic moment. On stage behind us, we have Ashley McIsaac and an all-star cast. This is the opening of the program. Of course, you can hear "O Canada" being played. Very beautiful rendition by Ashley McIsaac right now. Huge crowd out here on the hill.
Amazing.
This is going to be a spectacular show. What a way to finish the summit, which has been described as one of the friendliest summits ever. Friendly because of the people here in Nova Scotia and because of what the organizers have done with the summit and all of the entertainment. This is going to be a terrific night. 13 terrific acts over a period of 3 hours. A real family feel up here too, young and old alike.
Definitely. We're going to show you as much of this Cayley as we can in the next hour. And as Paul said, it's been a very friendly time. A lot of visitors to Halifax this week have been talking about the amazing, amazing maritime hospitality, including the summit spouses. They were out and about again today, and we'll take you to where they went and show you some of the pictures from their unofficial visits today.
Ashley McIsaac heating things up a little bit here at the Garrison Grounds. You can see a Canadian flag out in front of the stage, and this crowd, I think, is being warmed up for a terrific show tonight. We're going to show you a lot of this tonight, but right now, let's go back to Steve Murphy. Steve?
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Nancy. Always hard to know just exactly how many people are attending a huge event like this one. A gentleman just off camera tells me he was talking to a Halifax City police officer who puts the crowd at about 50,000 and still building. This Cayley on the Hill just scheduled to get underway now at 6 o'clock, running through 9 o'clock tonight. Late word from meteorologist Steve Wiggle, maybe some showers in the area, just a very, very narrow band of showers. So this thing probably isn't going to be rained out tonight. And people have been warned, besides, to prepare for what we like to call in the metro area thick air. At any rate, for most of us, this G7 summit has been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see, and in some cases even meet, some of the most powerful people in the world, some of whom, in fact, many of whom, have gone out of their way to meet us. And ATV's Janice Landry has been out following those famous faces. Janny.
Well, Steve, you've just described why this event has been so successful. It's because of the leaders themselves. They've been very approachable, very accessible, very down-to-earth, often going on many impromptu walkabouts with the crowd, sending them into a frenzy, also sending their security forces into a frenzy as well. In fact, all of us people I spoke to today say they feel the summit went very, very well.
Scenes like this one set the stage for the Halifax summit. Today, Russian President Boris Yeltsin decided against his motorcade and walked right through city streets to an early morning meeting of G7 leaders at the Maritime Museum.
Do you think he's probably one of the most outgoing of the crowd?
He is. Right now, he used to be one of the largest powers in the world. Now because of the country problems that his country has had, he's had himself, he's become very down to earth and realized, hey, they're just people, and it's not like he's a big shot that doesn't have human feelings. He's really sweet.
People love the down-to-earth approach. And on this, the last day of the summit, people are still trying to catch a last glimpse of the leaders, people gathering here on the edge of the red zone as close to Summit Place as they can get. Who have you got this morning?
Well, I got the end of the trunk of Clinton's limo. I'm afraid it didn't click on time.
Later in the day, the leaders gathered to unveil a commemorative plaque dedicated to the summit and to Halifax.
I would like to say thank you to the people of Halifax. They have been fantastic. Every one of my colleagues have been extremely impressed by the warmth and the enthusiasm that you have displayed.
I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of us here to thank the people of Halifax and Nova Scotia and the leaders for making us feel so welcome.
I think it's very nice, and for them to recognize what all the people did and the efforts and the work.
At the end of the summit, leader after leader left to the cheers of huge crowds who followed them over the past 3 days. I think the Prime Minister was very happy with the way things went. The Japanese delegation is the only delegation that is staying overnight tonight. President Clinton leaves later tonight. And I think, Steve, what is most appropriate here is that the Prime Minister is taking the German Chancellor Kohl fishing in the Northwest Territory. So they've gone fishing, wraps up the summit. It's been a great time.
Yeah, there was quite a cheer and quite a crowd for Prime Minister Jean Chrétien when he came out of the Trade Center just across the way here. But, Janny, you've been as close to these leaders as just about anybody. Any impressions about any one particular one of the G7 group?
I think the people were really taken with Yeltsin. Again, when you first saw him come off the plane, he was waving to everyone, almost boyish. He's such a huge character. It's almost unlike what you would expect from him. But he's really gone out of his way, as you saw in my story, walking through the city streets today to his meeting. I think the people were really taken with him, and I would say he's my favorite.
ATV Weekend News anchor Janice Landry, part of our coverage team. Thanks, Janice. Great job.
You're welcome.
Of course, the G7 leaders ended their summit meeting here in Halifax today with a communique that, among other things, blasted the war, the Russian war, in the Chechen Republic. With a closer look at what else they had to say in their closing communique today, ATV senior correspondent Rick Grant standing by live now from Summit Place in the Red Zone. Rick?
Steve, it was a very early morning for Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, French President Jacques Chirac, and European Union President Jacques Santé. They had an 8 o'clock meeting here at Summit Place to discuss things among themselves before the actual summit discussions began. Shortly after 9 o'clock, Jean Chrétien greeted all of the other summit leaders at the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, along with their foreign ministers, to begin the summit discussions for the day. They broke late in the morning for a plaque unveiling and what is called the family photo. And then Chrétien was herding the leaders back to Summit Place for one more hour of discussions.
Okay, let's go. We have work to do. We have work to do. Yes.
Although attention during the summit was diverted by Bosnia, Chechnya, and the looming U.S. trade dispute, the leaders did manage some progress on currency issues and reform of the United Nations and of the G7 summit process.
The people of Canada can be very, very proud of the direction and leadership that he gave this G7 conference. It has been more businesslike, more informal, and more specific in its suggestions for what we can do to improve the lives of our people than many of our previous meetings.
And according to the final communique from the 8 leaders, they did get some work done.
We will all immediately curtail any nuclear cooperation program with Iran.
Foreign policy expert Gil Winham, who was here for all of the sessions, gave the summit a passing grade.
They followed through on plans to reform IMF and World Bank, and they could have gotten derailed from that.
After the official summit meetings ended, U.S. President Bill Clinton accepted an invitation from Russian President Boris Yeltsin for private discussions. Earlier in the day, British Prime Minister John Major and Canadian Prime Minister Jean Chrétien expressed differing opinions on the degree of influence Yeltsin may have with Bosnian Serbs in resolving the dispute and ending the fighting around Sarajevo and freeing Canadian hostages.
Well, I don't think there are any new ideas in settling the conflict there.
I have discussed with Mr. Yeltsin, because they are under the control of the Serbs in Bosnia, if he could not help me in that situation, and he said yes.
Just before leaving for Russia, Yeltsin showed frustration at dealing with Chechen rebels who are holding more than 1,000 Russian hostages. But even with the progress that was made during the G7 summit on such items as reforming the IMF, there was some disappointment for Jean Chrétien and for Prime Minister John Major. They had hoped to be able to convince all of their colleagues to sell off some of the IMF gold and help poorer countries. They did make progress on it, but apparently they didn't get unanimity on it. Steve?
Maybe not much of a surprise there either, Rick. Just before we go, I realize a veteran news hound like yourself has had close encounters with many of the most interesting and famous people in the world, but you did actually have a brush with Bill Clinton today, I'm told, Rick.
Steve, I was standing waiting, hoping to get an opportunity to talk to Boris Yeltsin about the situation in Chechnya. The RCMP had a small barrier in front of us. We had a camera person present. I was asked to then turn around quickly. As I turned around, President Clinton was standing in front of me, put his hand out and said, "Hello, how do you do?" Caught me completely off guard. The only thing I could do was say, "Hello, Mr. President."
No time for an interview this time, Rick.
Not really.
All right, thanks very much. ATV's Rick Grant, like so many here in the metro area, having a first-hand and up-close and personal encounter with one of the G7 leaders. Okay, the main event in this area right now is the concert on the Hill, 50,000 strong and building, and Paul and Nancy are right there in the middle of all of it, guys.
Yes, we are, Steve, and they're just taking a bit of a break now, but so far this crowd has been incredibly responsive to anybody who's come on the stage. There are some clouds rolling in. It looks like it may rain at some point, but I get the feeling that they're in such a good mood, it won't matter.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be light showers, and maybe they'll need to cool off a little bit. Certainly after Ashley McIsaac warmed them up.
There are a lot of crossed fingers on the Hill, though, right now. No rain, please.
I think so. Everybody's kind of wrapped at watching the stage of what's happening. Rock Cuisine coming up shortly.
A lot of people this week have been watching the summit spouses, of course, and last night ended the official spousal program, but there were several unofficial appearances by the wives of the world leaders today.
Yes, that's right, and in keeping with the spirit of the last couple of days, they were met with terrific maritime hospitality.
Madame Santerre, Madame Chirac, Madame Chrétien, and Mrs. Yeltsin were special guests at St. Mary's Basilica this morning. The historic church was the site of a concert featuring Acadian talent from across the region. And what a show it was. Was treated to some incredible entertainment and the excitement of hosting the summit spouses. The attendance of Bernadette Chirac was of special significance to Acadians.
It tells the people that we're one people. And okay, it started in France. When the Acadians were expelled, they were sent to all parts of the states, and especially Louisiana. And yet, you know, we gather together again, and we can come together as one people. I think that's the main message.
There was an electricity in the building that we haven't seen for some time. It was great to get the Acadians and Francophones together for such an event. Even this early in the morning, yeah. Incroyable.
Across town, Hillary Rodham Clinton was the star attraction on Gottingen Street. She toured the new community Y.
Right? I see her. Hi, Hillary.
Did you get a good view with your binoculars?
Yeah.
Show them.
I recommend these to anybody who likes watching things.
Especially presidents' wives.
Yeah.
Lisa here has had a very exciting morning. She actually spoke to Mrs. Clinton.
Yes, I did. Actually, I explained to her about the computer program at the YMCA Job Generation, and she told me I had very good vocal skills, which made me appreciate her compliment, and I appreciate her attitude towards me. And
well, obviously there's been a lot of excitement in Nova Scotia this week. A lot of people have had the chance to meet and maybe even chat with some of the wives. As I said yesterday, Hillary Clinton was definitely the star of the show.
Were you surprised at how accessible these people were?
Very much so. Actually, even today in the Basilica, one of the security officers, I was asking him a couple of questions, and he said, "Oh, this is easy. This is no problem. We're not being very tight with security measures here." I don't know whether it's just because it was only the wives or they felt it was a trustworthy crowd in the church. I don't know.
I think there are a lot of people who are going to remember Halifax 1995 in this event. Well, there are some terrific performers lined up. We've seen Ashley McIsaac, and to date, a number of announcements of lost children who hopefully will be found before the evening is over. I'm sure that will be the case. Look, we haven't run down the list of performers for you. This is a really impressive show. Keeping in mind that it's over a period of 3 hours, right? Bear McNeil's, Men of the Deeps, Ashley McIsaac, who opened the show, Laura Smith, Terry Kelly, and Rollins Cross.
For the moment, the Rankins, Irish descendants, Lee Cremo, Lenny Galland, I'm so excited I can't talk, and Rock Voisine, who's coming on right now, I think. Or perhaps in a moment. They're psyching us out, Paul.
Well, I think the crowd is certainly anticipating some more music. Had that beautiful rendition of "Oh Canada" by Ashley McIsaac, and then a jig, then a few lost and found announcements, and now I think, as you take a look at the Sea of Humanity on Citadel Hill, I think we're ready for Rock
We're hoping
Voisine.
it's him. All right, folks.
Now he lives in LA. He's just come here. Give him a big maritime welcome. Hello, Rock Voisine. Hello, Nova Scotia. You guys having fun already? Good. We usually travel with a much bigger band, but tonight, for this special occasion, we put an acoustic medley for you here. So I hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
Poor girls look like crazy.
Seul sur le sable, sur la rive, mon rêve était un beau. L'été qui s'achève, tu partiras, à 100 000 lieues de loin. M'a oublié ton sourire, tellement de souvenirs. Dans les vagues paniquées, j'ai vu le temps passer, l'amour sur la plage désertée.
Sounding pretty good up on stage. Rock Voisine, from our vantage point, high on Citadel Hill, looking over this crowd, it is really phenomenal.
You can't go too wrong with this event. You've got one of the biggest stars in Canada right now on stage, and a huge crowd just delighted to be here. And everybody's pretty pumped up about what a success the summit seems to have been this week in Halifax.
We're going to have a lot more music here. Let's go to Steve Murphy now. Steve?
Yes, indeed, Paul and Nancy, the stars are out in Halifax tonight. Rock Voisine, of course, a maritimer from New Brunswick, a much bigger star in some of the other G7 countries than he has been in Canada until fairly recently, but he's been melting hearts and selling records in Paris and much of Europe for many, many years. And he's a maritimer home to celebrate tonight. A Ceilidh on the Hill as we celebrate the success of Halifax 1995, the Halifax G7 Summit. We take a break now with another glimpse of the action on Citadel Hill. Back in just a moment to continue our live coverage from everywhere in downtown Halifax. We are back live in Grand Parade in downtown Halifax. Behind me, two of the literally thousands of police officers who have been brought to work here at the G7 Summit in Halifax. We've been told that for every uniformed police officer you see here, there is probably at least one, maybe two plainclothesmen from the various police agencies around the world. The security has been nothing short of staggering for this event. And the security, incidentally, doesn't end with what's been going on here in the downtown core of Halifax. ATV's Fonz Jessup has been handling security matters here at the G7 for us. Fonz, here with your final update tonight. Fascinating story.
It is that, Stephen. At the moment, one of the most secure locations in Metro is this small bit of water right behind me. There are a flotilla of armed RCMP patrol boats, 2 helicopters circling overhead. They've been told to prepare for a ride on the Blue Nose 2 by U.S. First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton that is supposed to happen shortly. That is one of the mobile security zones. They had planned for that, but there is another very large static security zone right across the harbor at CFB Shearwater. Armed soldiers from CFB Gagetown are patrolling the perimeter of CFB Shearwater. Their mission to make certain no one gets close to the planes used by the leaders of the world attending the summit. The planes themselves are protected on the same scale as the leaders.
Obviously, this is a very important summit, and we just want to ensure that we do our small part in making it, safe and secure.
The observation posts themselves look more like something that belongs in a war zone than at a base here near Halifax. In fact, the man that constructed this one has just returned from one of the world hotspots. Sergeant Yoris, you just returned from Bosnia. You find yourself building a structure like this here. What's the idea behind this post?
The idea of the structure itself is a triple sandbag wall, which is structurally sound. It's going to stay up, and it suits our purpose.
The perimeter is being secured by more than just foot patrols and observation posts. There is also the Bison. It's an 8-wheeled armored vehicle that is constantly circling the outside of the base. There's another high-level security operation being run from the Canadian Coast Guard hangar on the base. Surveillance helicopters are keeping a close eye on the entire city.
It enables us to see, like I said before, in the dark. Sometimes you can look at something and it might blend into the background. You won't be able to see it, but when you look at it with the thermal imaging, it'll stand out just as if you were looking at it right in front of you.
We can monitor our motorcade people as well as our site security people. Anything that we happen to see that they would miss from an aerial vantage, we can pass on to them.
Along with the high-tech sensing equipment, the speed, the versatility, and the maneuverability of the RCMP helicopters makes them perhaps the single most valuable asset in the summit security arsenal. If needed, each helicopter carries an RCMP sniper. And those helicopters are performing another very important duty here. They are helping to enforce the no-fly zone. A very large section of the air around Metro Halifax is also an exclusion zone. No other aircraft are allowed here as long as the world leaders are present. Steve?
And again, we stipulate tonight, fortunately, so far as we are able to report, no security problems during this event.
That's right.
Thank you, Fonz. Let's go back to Paul and Nancy on Citadel Hill.
Steve, this is not work for us. We're having a great time enjoying the concert along with about 40,000 other people on Citadel Hill right now.
Our new friends, Nancy. If you like being around people, you can't go wrong with this event. A very friendly, I think we said earlier, a family crowd here.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much so tonight. You know, as you've seen here on ATV over the past few days, downtown Halifax has been jammed with people. But despite the huge crowds, there have been very, very few problems.
ATV's Star Dobson can always be found smack dab in the middle of all the best parties. And she's down there right now. How are you doing, Star? You
I'm
having
doing
fun
great
yet?
down here, Nance. I'm telling you, we were talking to organizers earlier today. They told us this hill would hold about 50,000 people, and it's packed. So far, no problems whatsoever.
I don't think we can get back much
Halifax police have been out in full force all week. Today is no exception. Despite the constant mobs of people lining the streets of downtown Halifax, police officers tell us they've encountered very few problems.
What's your name? Luke, is it?
Extra officers are on the hill.
Close to 50 police officers in that crowd, not attached to the G7, but strictly for that concert to make sure that everyone's safe and that the concert goes off well.
And concert goers aren't worried about the crowds.
But there's a really strong security presence, so I feel really safe.
Last night, close to 75,000 people flooded the streets. Police only had one incident.
And it was such a minor incident, it's not even worthwhile reporting. Just a liquor-related incident in a bar that was over in 2 seconds.
We were here last night, actually. We were down on the waterfront with the fireworks, and we had no problem. Everyone was moving aside when we had the carriage go by, and it's been great.
RCMP security organizers are impressed. It is teamwork with all the different municipal police forces and in every department, federal departments. It's been great. Tourists agree.
It's amazing just to see how they've managed to keep everybody so controlled, and it's really good to see. I think the cops are doing a great job.
Now, police officials say that they plan on continuing this increased security present on the streets of Halifax until all of the events wrap up tomorrow night, but they're not anticipating any major problems because, as you can see behind me right now, everyone's cooperating, having a great time, and everything's just going as well as everyone had hoped it would.
All right, thanks a lot, Star. Hey, the good news is you're off now. You can enjoy the concert.
I'm going to sit down and take this all in. It's a lot of fun.
Great job. Thanks a lot, Star. Rock Was In is really doing a great job entertaining this crowd. Very low-key, sort of folksy performance by him tonight. As he said when he came on stage, this is a low-key performance simply because it's only an acoustic band they've got there. Listen to that crowd.
Two young trees falling. The next song was first written in English, then was recorded on a French album, and we added an Italian part to it. So I guess it would fit the G7 convention, wouldn't it? So we'd like to perform it for you tonight. It is called Ma Lady Mon Secret in French. My lady might have been.
Well, he knows it's a bilingual crowd tonight, and he's pleasing everybody.
No question about it, Nancy. A song for the G7. I think I'd like to pick up on what Star said earlier about the appropriateness of the gentle crowds that we've had in Halifax. Everybody having a great time. Appropriate because this is a meeting of the most powerful men in the world, or was, and we can only hope that maybe it would be like that throughout the rest of the world. We know that's not the case, but certainly for 3 days in Halifax, the city has seen a whole bunch of people come together in peace and harmony. It's just been terrific. It's been a lot of fun.
Even a lot of the international media have commented on the incredible hospitality and friendliness of Maritimers. They've been impressed.
Let's go back to Steve. We'll go back to Steve in a moment. We'll be back live here from Citadel Hill and all over downtown Halifax in just a moment.
You know, we're all looking for a top quality card.
Steve Murphy live in the Grand Parade in downtown Halifax. Of course, a G7 summit meeting is more or less the, let us say, the Olympics of international eco-politics. And as a result, wherever the leaders go, whatever they do, there are hundreds, no, there are thousands of reporters who follow their every move. And so the summit has thrust Halifax and the entire Maritime provinces onto television screens all around the world. Now, if you're wondering what people in other countries have been seeing, we're about to find out. ATV's Jonathan Kay, live at the International Broadcast Center, has been watching what these reporters have been sending home. And what have you seen so far?
Well, as you mentioned, people all over the world are seeing stories on almost every channel from Halifax. And as the summit winds down and these foreign reporters, some of them are already starting to pack up and get ready to head back, they seem to be impressed. Notice that I say most, not all, though. Take a look at this.
It's about as exciting as it gets. The Halifax 12 noon cannon. If awards were given at economic summits, Halifax, a pleasant backwater, would easily win the award as the most boring setting in the history of G7 meetings.
That opinion from Irving R. Levine was seen by people across the United States on the Saturday edition of NBC's Today Show this morning.
I have to excuse you because I have work to do. Thank you.
You can't give us just a hint?
We tracked him down, but Levine dismissed us.
Just a hint of what you found boring in Halifax.
I find you rather boring.
Boring? You don't see me wearing a bow tie, do you? Believe me, we fared much better just about everywhere else. If nothing else, viewers of every television station in the world have seen this shot, a reporter standing right here with the town clock over his or her shoulder. Why do you like the clock so much?
It's close to the door.
Is that it, because it's close to the door?
No, it's significant to the city line, and therefore it's very appealing to the people, I think.
There's been so much to see and do, and plenty of local things to taste and tickle your fancy.
But in addition to being a backdrop for stories about international affairs, many TV networks have produced entire news items about the city itself and have traveled quite extensively.
It's been nicknamed the Chevrolet Summit because supposedly it was done on the cheap. I think I'd probably call it the Jeep Wrangler Summit. Great deal of fun and not too expensive.
We have some sort of entertainment programs in the morning. So we covered Peggy's Cove, the lighthouse. That seems to be the famous place in Halifax.
It's just a feeling of people seem to be satisfied here. I don't know if it's true or not, but they really seem happy. It's a nice, genuine place.
And the people in the foreign media seem to be picking up on that. Even the reporters who are doing those hard-hitting international stories are using Halifax well as a backdrop. I was just talking with a producer from Reuters here, and as he was explaining, their top 3 stories on their feeds each night, the situation in Chechnya, in Bosnia, and the G7, they're all stories that are coming from here in Halifax and showing Halifax as a backdrop. And one of the nicest things any of these reporters is doing for us is when they're signing off the reports, they're saying the reporter's name, the news organization, Halifax. Not Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, not Halifax, Canada, Halifax. It puts us on that international scale. Tokyo, Washington, Halifax.
Yeah.
Steve?
Residual educational benefit there, I think. Thank you, Jonathan. We're live here in the Grand Parade experiencing what we like to call a narrow band of showers. Just a little thick air, nothing to worry about. And it's nothing to worry about at the other summit, the People's Summit, or the P7, which continued today across town from this broadcast location. Here's what's going on there.
Roll right over him, roll the people on. If Paul Martin's in the way, we're gonna roll right over him, roll the people on.
People worried about the environment, global peace, and the women's movement took the speaker's corner to vent their concerns at the P7. It is an alternative to these G7 meetings, calling on world leaders to deal with issues that they have not been dealing with on the official agenda at the G7. It may be appropriate that meteorologist Steve Weigel is standing by in the wings with the very latest word on our maritime weather forecast. Lots more live from Citadel Hill and lots more behind-the-scenes stories from the Halifax Summit coming up as the ATV Evening News continues live everywhere in downtown Halifax.
I'm a 35-year-old.
It has been a beautiful day in downtown Halifax up until just, about the last few minutes when that police officer and I and a few others put on the raincoats. Meteorologist Steve Weigel is standing by with me here live in the Grand Parade. It occurs to me the sun came out on cue for you the other day, so this is only fair to prove that you have a total command of all of the elements.
I wish.
Yeah. And how about the blue sky?
Yes.
We always carry some blue sky.
It is always sunny underneath Steve Weigel.
Here he is with our forecast for you.
Okay, let's take a look at it first. Let's take a look at the G7 countries around the world, and some of those countries are much drier than we are right now. Ottawa is seeing sunshine and 27 right now. Paris, mainly cloudy and 20 degrees. Some rain in Bonn today, up to 17 from 12 yesterday. Some more sunshine for Rome and 23. And as we head across other parts of the world, Tokyo, sunshine and 22. Some rain in London and 15. Washington, a beautiful day there with sunshine and 26. And Moscow, back from the thunder showers of the past few days, is now seeing some sunshine and 27. Okay, let's start off with our weather with a big satellite photo. Now we have a little bit of a cold front sliding through the Maritimes right now. In fact, no surprise here, it's right over the Halifax area, and it will continue to push out in the next little while. The close-up is showing that line of clouds stretching all the way from Newfoundland back through the Maritimes, and it's starting to clear out through the northwestern section of New Brunswick. But we're in for some more showers through the Halifax area in the next 24 hours. Now, that cold front started up in Quebec 24 hours ago, and watch how it slides down through the Maritimes. Scattered showers first in New Brunswick this morning, and now it's into the Halifax area, where it will continue for the next couple hours. So we're looking at a few more showers before this thing pushes out off into the Atlantic. So clearing skies through New Brunswick overnight. We're looking at mainly cloudy, with a few showers through Nova Scotia and through Prince Edward Island, some of the warmest temperatures being through the Annapolis Valley and down along the south shore of Nova Scotia. And we're looking at 10 degrees up around the northwest quadrant of New Brunswick. And then for tomorrow, sunshine, another beautiful day in the Maritimes. What a great way to end the weekend. We've got some of the warmest temperatures we will have seen so far this year. 28 degrees in Fredericton, 27 for Edmundston and also around the Acadian Peninsula, 24 for the Bay of Fundy area, and generally 20 to 28 right across Nova Scotia. Now for the outlook. Lots more sunshine for Monday. We're looking at a little bit of cloud pushing in later in the day. Tuesday, more sunshine, partly to mainly sunny skies, chance of a shower during the day in 22. And then some more sunshine for Wednesday. And you'll notice that temperatures are starting to cool down during the whole trend. Now, Steve, it is getting really wild out there. The wind and the rain has really picked up in the past few minutes. But I think that things are going to start shaping up overnight tonight. And we should see a little bit more sunshine for tomorrow as things start to push out. So we're just dealing with a cold front right now, which will push out in the next few hours. Okay, Steve.
Okay, Steve. Ain't easy being a weatherman. Dueling umbrellas right here at the Grand Parade. Really, how long are we looking at this? Probably
I think until about 9:30 or 10 tonight, off and on showers, and then things will clear up after that.
All right, some thick air.
Yeah.
Thank you, meteorologist Steve Weigel. He doesn't make up the weather, he just forecasts it and reports it. And he's asked me to remind you about the don't shoot the messenger modicum, I guess, at this stage. We're going to take a break, come back to continue our live coverage of the Halifax G7 Summit, Halifax in the rain, a lovely Saturday night. And as you can see, a few people have abandoned the concert, but there's still a hearty crowd there, and we're back to them, too, in just a few minutes.
Wait for it now. And to watch it fly.
You're looking for a live element. Excuse me?
Thank you very much. We'll see you a little later on. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Great New Brunswick band Mo Dabo has been regaling the crowd here in downtown Halifax. A lot of people on Citadel Hill, despite a bit of wet weather here in the downtown area. Well, you know, this G7 summit would not have been possible were it not for the hundreds and hundreds of Metro residents and others who came forward to volunteer their services to make it happen. And ATV Evening News weekend anchor Jonathan Gravener standing by live with the volunteer story. Quite a story it is too, Jonathan.
Yeah, it sure is, Steve. You know, and today was the day that those volunteers finally got the recognition that they deserved. They were all invited behind the very tight security of the red zone to a reception of their very own. Drawn from every corner of the province, these people were the engine that made the G7 summit go. From filling ditty bags for the media to greeting international visitors, every single volunteer was an integral part of the success of this event. Over 1,500 people actually volunteered for the Halifax Summit, and as you can see, most of them actually came out today for this reception. For many, the actual highlight of the whole affair happened today when Jean Chrétien came in.
It's very difficult to be a prouder Canadian than I am today.
And that's how just about everyone inside the tent felt. And to have the Prime Minister confirm that Halifax was the right spot for the event made the success of the summit even sweeter.
But what is important is around the world today, and yesterday, and the day before, they saw what is Canada. And as I wanted to show to them the best of Canada, I could not have selected a better place and a better group of people than Halifax.
And the euphoria wasn't just saved for the Prime Minister's speech. Everyone we talked to was proud today. Proud to be Canadian and proud to be involved. So why did you volunteer?
Because it's a really historic moment. It was an opportunity to participate and contribute something. Yeah, it was excellent. It was great. It was a really awesome experience.
We were on arrivals and departures at the airport, and there were 18 of us, and we had a fantastic time. It was like an election campaign condensed into 3 days.
It was exciting, and that's what I was hoping for, so everything fulfilled.
Was it all worthwhile doing the volunteer?
Oh, definitely. I met so many people, had a great time. I learned a lot about Nova Scotia that I didn't know myself.
Yeah, I guess the only downside for all the volunteers that they told me today was that this whole affair didn't last long enough. For many of them, they said the real highlight came when Jean Chrétien thanked them, and they all managed to gather together at the end. They said it's going to be a real highlight that none of them will ever forget.
One of those patented Jean Chrétien straight from the heart kind of speeches.
Yeah, it was.
It
was a great speech, actually.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jonathan.
Thanks.
We're back here live in the Grand Parade. I want to show you that there's been a marked change in the traffic pattern in downtown Halifax. A few minutes ago, it was all westbound toward Citadel Hill for the concert. Well, with the rain, I hate to even use the R word, but with the rain, most of the traffic, as you can see here, is now eastbound back to downtown locations, including parking garages, one would think, where many people may be fleeing for the dryness of home. We're back with more in just a minute.
Craft singles are made with so much of the right stuff. Why? Well, we do it for the kids out there who also have all the right stuff. In fact, each thick Kraft single slice contains as much calcium and protein as a 5-ounce glass of milk. They do their best. We owe them our best. Kraft singles, with the calcium and protein of a 5-ounce.
Our life gets a longer life.
What a difference a day makes. Actually, a little less than a day. This was the scene over Halifax Harbor last night, a very, very special display of fireworks in honor of the Summiteers here at Halifax 1995. Many people I talked to today say it was quite plainly the best fireworks display ever seen in the Halifax Dartmouth area. We have had some dandies, including, of course, the great Festival of Light a couple of years back. But just listen to these crackers. They were the big three-dimensional ones, too, the kind that almost reach out and grab you. Well, you might say that a low-pressure system has kind of reached out and grabbed us here in mainland Nova Scotia at the moment. Some showers moving across the district at the moment. And unfortunately, it may be putting a damper for at least some people on the events going on Citadel Hill. But Paul and Nancy, hardy Maritimers that they are sticking it out, aren't you guys?
We sure are.
Yeah, we've seen a couple people leave, but a lot of people are sticking around.
A lot of people brought umbrellas, as did we,
That's
and
right.
so we're prepared for this. Actually, it's kind of refreshing.
I don't think I'll need these anymore,
No,
though.
put the sunglasses
Anybody
away.
want to buy a pair of sunglasses? No.
Off to a little bit of a slow start here at the concert on the Hill. We've had Ashley McIsaac, Rock Voisine, and a number of lost and found announcements. And a cheer went up from the crowd a short time ago. One of the lost children has been found. So that gave them something to cheer about. And we're waiting for another band to come on. We're not sure who's coming up.
We think it's Rollins Cross.
We're
We're
not
keeping
completely
our
sure.
fingers crossed for that. I want to talk to a couple people here who are sticking it out in the rain. How are you doing? Good. Yeah, where are you from?
Wolfville, Nova Scotia.
Are you going to stick it through in the rain here?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah?
definitely.
Who are you most excited to see tonight?
Oh, I don't know, everybody, I guess.
Hey, do you like Rollins Cross?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
We'll take a look down on the stage. That's where they are right now. Rollins Cross, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check this out.
All right.
I love the way they make the bagpipe sound.
Well, folks, they may be wet, but they're happy now. They're up and dancing and rocking to Rollins Cross.
It's as though a surge of electricity's gone through this crowd. Let's go back to Steve Murphy as we enjoy Rollins Cross here on the Hill.
You know, Nancy, this is very reminiscent of the Beach Boys on the beach.
Yes, it is.
1989, a lot of people having a great time despite the rain, and I remember you and I out there in the middle of it. The first time, in fact, we ever dealt with the Rollins Cross crew back in Antigonish, Nova Scotia during a Celebrate the Maritimes broadcast here on ATV a number of years ago, and they've certainly come a long way since then. One of the premier of the Atlantic Canadian groups internationally, and just one of the many headliners on stage not far from here. For the brave, if you don't mind getting just a little bit wet, you get the best entertainment ticket in probably the whole world tonight for absolutely free. I guess a raincoat's a pretty small price to pay. We're going to take a break, come back to continue our live coverage of Halifax 1995, the G7 Summit. It's a celebration of the success of the big event from live in the Grand Parade at the foot of historic Citadel Hill. And we'll be back in just a moment.
An ordinary hamburger. Rice Krispies treats me hungry.
Hey, Dad, I didn't know you could cook.
And perhaps a little modest.
Well,
Kellogg's Rice Krispies treats recipe. So good, yet so easy.
Well, one of the many people who may be disappointed with the rain is the First Lady of the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton, was scheduled to be sailing on Blue Nose 2, which, as you can see, is still dockside at Summit Place, where her husband, the President of the United States, and the other G7 summiteers have been meeting for the last couple of days. But, you know, a lot of people who may be mildly disappointed are still sticking it out, and why not? This may be the best entertainment event in Canada or anywhere tonight. Paul, Nance?
Yeah, this is great.
You know what I think, Steve? I think it shows how much power the world leaders have. You know, they start to leave town and look what happens. They've been able to keep the rain away for the past few days.
Got to give it to this crowd. They're hanging in for Rollins Cross. Great performance there from them. We've got somebody we want to talk to here. Actually, Cindy's helping me out, holding the umbrella for me while I was grappling with my microphone. You're Marcia, right?
Mercy.
Marcy, who are you waiting for? Who do you want to see tonight most of all?
The Rankins.
The Rankins. How about you?
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like the Bear McNeils?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, who else? Do you like For the Moment? You heard them before?
No,
oh, you'll like them, I think. Where are you from?
Dartmouth.
You?
Dartmouth.
Okay, well, enjoy the show. Nancy's got a couple of people she wants to introduce us to now.
You guys are getting a little wet over here too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Halifax.
Oh, you've come a long way for this concert.
A long way.
Yeah. Have you seen any famous faces in the last few days as the summit was in town?
No, not really. Just Bill Clinton and
You saw Bill Clinton?
yeah, and Boris Yeltsin.
Did you have lunch with them?
I wish.
Yeah. What about you? Did you see anybody famous?
No.
What about Paul Meunier? All right, well, have fun at the concert. Who are you looking forward to most?
The Rankin family.
The Rankin family. Thanks, guys.
Well, right
Have
now, I'll
fun.
tell you, Nancy, the group Rollins Cross has them on their feet. If you want to just peer over our shoulders here, I think everybody's standing up now. Probably because the ground is wet, but also because Rollins Cross is sounding pretty good here. Let's listen in if we can, just for a second.
If you're sitting at home wondering what the crowd's like down here, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are leaving at this stage. The diehards are in it for the long run.
I think some more people are coming in, and the rain is actually letting up, Steve.
Yeah, it seems to be just a little bit down here. Thanks very much, guys. Great working with you. Great job.
Thanks, Steve.
And just before we go, a final observation from this corner, and that is that this may have been called the Halifax Summit of 1995, but in many ways, and in fact in all the important ways that matter, this was a real maritime event. We've talked to people from all over the maritime provinces who've been here in the metropolitan Halifax-Dartmouth area for the past couple of days. They've been doing their level best to welcome the world, and I think that all maritimers can be justifiably proud of what our Prime Minister said today. Couldn't pick a better place in Canada to entertain the world, and we thank Mr. Chrétien for that opportunity. And I want to take an opportunity to thank 6 guys who are holding umbrellas all around the broadcast location here. For my colleagues on both sides of our cameras, I'm Steve Murphy. Thank you, and good night from Grand Parade and the Halifax Summit 1995. Night, everybody.
Toronto plays host to Texas, Sunday at 2:30 on ATV.